Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you are all doing well. Today is second video of the day and it's a special one, but I'm convinced that you will love it. It's totally different as the video that we usually do, so pay attention, because after Douglas Luiz, Khephren Thuram could be the next Juventus signing. What a crazy mercato. Mercato is totally crazy. What a beautiful duo, or at least this is what Juventini are hoping. Douglas Luiz and next to him Khephren Thuram, the son of Lilian. But the question is, will the son of Lilian Thuram, the number 19 of OGC Nice, be really ideal for the Thiago Motta's Juve? Well, we will study him thanks to stats, thanks to the tactical board, but also to some footage. Pay attention, this video already exists in Italian and has been made by my great friend Emiscouting. If you didn't yet and never heard about him, please do it now. Go and follow him on YouTube, Emiscouting. The links is in the description. Emi is a professional scout. He's working and collaborating with a lot of different clubs in Europe, scouting, spotting talents. And we thought it was a really good idea to share the video that he made in Italian for the people that are not speaking, unfortunately, Italian and are really curious about Khephren Thuram. So let's translate that video. And thanks to his work and all the tools, the professional tools that he's able to use, we will go and deep dive in the way of playing of Khephren Thuram. So his opinion, but it's also the same as I have my opinion about Khephren Thuram, it's that immediately I tell you, Juventus can really hit a target because he's a really interesting player for Juventus. Everybody now at the moment are really enthusiastic about Khephren Thuram. There is a lot of enthusiasm, but sometimes when you are too enthusiastic, it's a bit difficult because you are not thinking anymore with your brains, but you are thinking a lot with your heart, and that's not good. So that's why I also was really attracted by the video of Emi, because he's using his brain to watch the player from a distance and to make an analyze. So let's go immediately now, starting with some stats and important stats. We go with a beautiful screenshot. Khephren Thuram has been last season with Nice the most booked player. 7 yellow cards, and it's important to remember that. Why? Because we will come back on that in a second. Third player in terms of fouls committed, and also here pay attention to point 1 and point 2. Third player in successful tackles. And then you have in possession, because if the first 3 stats are in non-possession, we go towards the possession phase, where Khephren Thuram is the first for penetration balls, so the true balls, 8 in the entire season, third in successful dribbles, and third in created chances. So what can we say about Khephren Thuram? That he's a player that is extremely involved into the game of his team, both phases, offensively and defensively. It's a real box-to-box player. He's a bit the definition of a box-to-box player, but it's not everything, because now we have even a bit more complex stats that we will start checking. Let's go with the tactical board to give you a more visual idea about it. Non-possession phase. Played in a 4-3-3, like you can see here, and he participated in non-possession phase in all the different zones. When needed to help behind or pressing up front, Khephren Thuram is always there. It's a player that did a lot of runs, ups and down, and especially going and support the left side of the field. But also a player that was playing last season in a 4-3-3, but we can see that in a 4-2-3-1, he can really cover exactly the same zones as you can see now with the different parts in the tactical pads if Juventus would play in that 4-2-3-1. So what can we go for with that first visual identity of Khephren Thuram, especially in the non-possession phase? We can say that he's a really dynamic player in non-possession. Don't forget, he's 1m92, 81 kilogram, which means that he has a really important physique. He's really huge. He's a huge player. When the team is looking for defensive support, he's omnipresent. He's everywhere on the field. You can find him everywhere on the field. He plays as an inverted mezzala. We heard a lot about inverted wingers, you know, when you are playing on one side of the field, on the left side, for example, but you are right-footed. Well, he is, and he played at Nice as an inverted mezzala. Right foot player, but he's also really able to use his left foot. That's not a problem for him. It's a dynamic midfielder with peaks of acceleration to recuperate the ball. But it's not over, because now we go towards some clips that will show you even more. Here you can see Khephren Thuram starting from the back to recuperate the ball. Again, we see him coming from the distance to protect the midfield, as you can see here on that image. And here we see him covering more space into that midfield. He never gives up. One of the negative points, unfortunately, of Khephren Thuram is that from time to time, he has the tendency to lose the ball. And that can be possibly one of the problems. So what can we sum up from the non-possession phase? If we are summing up everything, dynamic player, physical player, intense player, we can say that he's a real workhorse. But losing the ball in the heart of the game can sometimes be dangerous. If we go back to the stats, remember the first slide that I showed you? Well, it's not a coincidence that he's the most yellow card booked player from Nice. And that he commits the most fouls. Why? Because with that intensity, when he's losing the ball there, well, because he has that intention, that will of never giving up, he's coming back and then he's committing fouls. And that can be really a problem. By consequence, most booked player of Nice. I'm not saying that he's systematically losing the ball, so pay attention. That's not what we are saying here. But it happens from time to time, and that's a really point where he needs to improve as fast as possible. Now that we spoke about the non-possession, let's go and check the same thing, but about the possession phase. What can we see here? Khephren Thuram, even in possession, is always playing in front of the defense. He loves to try to play with the players that are next to him on the left side. And you see all these combos, but he's also a player that loves to go a bit more up front, to be behind the striker, as you can see here with the two arrows, looking for the pass, or in vertical, and I believe that's a really asset for Dusan Vlahovic, that will be the number one, but also being able to change side for the right winger, offensive winger that comes up. As said, it's a player that is physical, but also really beautiful runs from Khephren Thuram that can really support offensively in transition phase. He loves to carry the ball, and it's a player that loves to start the offensive phase. So when he has that ball, when he recuperates it, fantastic, beautiful run with a lot of physique, running a bit the cavallo pazzo, and it's not a coincidence why you see here an Adrien Rabiot shirt, taking that ball and doing these big runs, trying to play with the left side of the field, if possible, vertical, trying to look for a Dusan Vlahovic, or maybe even sometimes changing on the right side. This is what we saw, but it's not over, of course, because we continue now with real-time images of Khephren Thuram. So as we can see here, in possession, we see him carrying the ball and trying to play vertical. Here, the same, but on the other side of the field, because he's a right foot, don't forget about that. Here, the next image, we see a Khephren Thuram that is changing side. So instead of going vertical, he's looking for that right winger. And again, here, fast and physical, anticipating the opponent and penetration pass to try to find that number 9. However, he's not the most technical player. Don't expect, and here we go towards the second player I have here behind me, Zinedine Zidane. Don't expect these beautiful highlighting skills after every single game of Khephren Thuram. He's a player that sometimes he lacks in accuracy, but with a huge margin to grow. He's a top if we speak about intensity and intention. Defensively, you really want Khephren Thuram in your team. For what reason? Because he's scaring the opponents, because they know immediately that's a player that is not holding back. When he has to put his leg, his foot, he's putting it. He's not scared to go into contrast. So important. Do you remember the stat about the tackle once, also duels won? On the other side, in possession, I love personally, but also Emi, his intention. His intention to always think forward and to change the game from the moment that he has the ball. But don't expect, again, a Zinedine Zidane in his first touch. With Thiago Motta, he could really do well. He has everything and all the material to improve. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed that video. That is a bit shorter than the other ones, but really to the point. What we can expect from Khephren Thuram. I hope you really enjoyed. Video made by Emiscouting, already in Italian. Go back, watch it. I hope you will really enjoy it because it's really fantastically done. If you want more of these videos, please let me know. You saw, I read a lot in today's video. Why? Because it's a video that I translated and it was important, not Bepe's opinion, but the real facts of Emi. So if you loved it, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. Grazie, forza, Juve.